Because Encanto came out, right?
I haven't even watched that one.
Okay, look,
I don't think I can handle it.
No. Okay, I'm gonna learn you something real quick because it's very important. I went into Encanto thinking, because the animation is very similar, I went into Encanto thinking that it was gonna be another Coco, just in Colombia, right? Because I knew it was Colombia. So because I have Colombian coworkers, they were like, "Yo, we're excited because it's Colombia, blah blah, this and that." So I was like, "Yo, I'm about to learn something about Colombia, like." In the way that Coco taught everybody about like Mexican culture, about Mexican culture and specifically Dia de los Muertos. So I was really hype, and then I watched it and I was really underwhelmed.
Really?
Not because it's not a good story, but because it is not Coco. If you go in there thinking
it's gonna be like Coco,
it's gonna be like Coco,
you're gonna have all these like sentimental things.
Yeah, it's just not that at all.
But do you think it's that way because you're not Colombian?
No, I think objectively, Cruz is Colombian, and Cruz said the same exact thing.
Oh, really?
Cruz was like, yeah, I was really like underwhelmed by the storyline and underwhelmed by
was it just not talking about like cultural aspects?
No. I think it was. Well, yes, I think it was talking. It was a very great story with a great concept, just set in Colombia. Oh, it's not necessarily like about Colombia, about Colombian culture. It was just a cute story and a good story and a good character development on some respects. Just set in the setting is Colombia. You know what I mean?
Sorry, like something I just noticed right now. You and I emphasize things when we talk, and we just literally did the exact same thing.
You mad?
Well, we are. No. Like I never. There I go, doing it again. I didn't. Me and Alex talk about this all the time about how we all talk very similar to each other, and he's like, "You talk a lot like Juan or Juan."
That's because y'all be trying to copy me. That's
Shut
why.
up. But like you stay saying that, but no, like it never. But you know what? Our parents do the same thing though. So like,
our parents don't talk like that.
Dad be emphasizing the hell out of shit. Be like, and you emphasizing the wrong part sometimes. Anyways, but yeah. I didn't want to watch Encanto because I thought it was gonna be very sentimental, like Coco. Dude, I cried during Coco. I was like,
Coco was real, bro. Coco was real, and then Coco hit you, man. It just made me realize.
Forget him. I'm like, I can't forget my great grandpa that I don't even know. Like now I gotta be thinking about
Encanto.
Get all the ofrendas. I didn't even think Mom bought into it because now she has an ofrenda with all the family members and shit.
You just gonna call out Mom like that? Like she ain't had no ofrenda. You're right though. She never had an ofrenda.
And now she has a whole ofrenda the whole year with little skeleton, little heads, and all the little flowers and all the pictures of everybody that's ever died in the family. And I'm like, you never do that before. I asked her about it. I was like, Mom, why don't we ever do ofrendas? She's like, I don't know, we don't do that. And then she saw Coco. I think it like. I
watched Encanto and I was like, at the beginning I was underwhelmed. I was like, man, I really wasn't like feeling it like I did. I don't know. Am I tripping?
I hear people were fucking with that like real strong lady.
Oh yeah. No. So people really fucking with it, and the like kids really fuck with it right now. Yeah. But it just made me realize they did not have to go that hard for Coco. Like they went hard on Coco. Like
that's honestly because they did so well with Coco and people loved Coco so much. People now like have this expectation for the other movies coming out. So when it's like, oh, Disney is coming out with a story about our culture, like they want that same like full
the attention to detail, hardcore storyline, like lovable
and really
characters,
showing the culture instead of it just being.
Wait, it was animated by Pixar and everything.
Yeah, it was a Disney movie.
Okay.
It has the same like type of like art style and the same like kind of like
I saw,
you know what I mean? The way they like frame the characters and like draw them and stuff like that. So that's why it was like very Coco-esque.
Do you think that the reason why Coco got so like well reviews was because correct me if I'm wrong again, I haven't seen Encanto, but it's based off of a girl doing something. So not like some sort of sexism thing, but more like
Yo, you're about to get roasted online because you haven't seen Encanto and the whole fucking world's seen Encanto.
Well, let it be. I'm too busy watching Toy Story right now over and fucking over again. Natalia has that shit on repeat and she does not want me to put anything. I still
haven't seen the fourth one.
I haven't seen it either and I really don't feel like it because, well, characters. Yeah, I saw.
I still haven't seen the fourth one. 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 I still haven't
Like, I was fine with the first one and the second one being his thing. And then after that, I was like, y'all out here got this crazy bear and shit. And they were about to die. And I had never felt so emotional for a fake toy dying. They don't die, but to me, it was like very, whatever. Anyways.
Do we think Coco went as hard because of what?
Well, I do you think that it went more hard because it wasn't some sort of like empowerment? Like movie, so like a lot of the female like
characters in Coco?
Female characters in a lot of these Disney movies are about like these women feeling empowered and these princesses and stuff like that. Even if you're not a princess in the movie, it's about empowerment, about realizing that you're more than what you thought you were. But Coco was never really about that. Coco was just about him learning about a culture that he was very ignorant about. He wasn't empowered. He was just like, damn, I really underappreciated my culture. Do you think it really more resonated with people's idea of like, damn, I'm underappreciating my culture? Maybe I should think about it a little bit more the way he did and learn and figure out more.
I don't know. I just think it's a fucking badass story.
That's what I got from it.
I think it's surface level. I just think they nailed it from the very beginning.
I think that's
like without diving deep into like the
like
archetypes or anything like that.
I think they really did a good job.
I think surface level. I think the story is just fucking bomb. I think the story is just fucking.
But like,
raw.
I mean, the essence of the story is about him learning about his culture. It's not about him being empowered.
Right.
So
but I don't think that plays any part into why it's so good. I just think it's good because from the story and the way they directed the story is like powerful.
I think those kinds of stories resonate more with people than ideas of empowerment. Yeah.
Well, I don't know because Moana slapped.
But Moana was also talking about
women empowerment.
Yeah, she was talking about women empowerment, but it was also talking about her learning about her culture, in the sense that like.
Well, she already learned her culture. She was trying to save it. She was trying to be the fucking bomb.com. She was trying to be like that bitch.
It's true.
To like try to save like only I could do it.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
And Moana slapped. Fucking what's the name of the chicken?
I don't remember the name.
Was Ting Ting? What's the name? Buck, right? No. What's the name?
I don't remember.
And Ting Ting I think was that wasn't even Mulan.
It's like 2 syllables.
Pepe.
No, that's
the
Rush
pig.
Hour. No, it was Shanghai Noon. It was Shanghai Noon.
Pepe?
Princess Pepe. Hey.
Pepe.
You think about Shanghai Noon? Why you bringing up Jackie Chan?
Pepe.
Jackie Chan and Owen Wilson up in this bitch.
Yo, that shit was
Wilson.
bomb though.
Yeah, that movie was fucking badass.
That movie's Jackie Chan in any fucking movie is fucking hilarious.
Fucking good, man. No,
Shit's
I don't
funny.
know. I don't think it. I don't think that plays any part into why Coco was so good. I think the storyline in and of itself, the way they got to the storyline, the twist at the end. Who was his real grandfather? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? The M. Light Shyamalamalan twist, like
no,
at the very end.
No, honestly though, like you ain't think about that at all. Like
I'm just telling you, they fucking got you.
Mind.
They
like,
fucking got you. You thought he was gonna show up in heaven, like yo, Grandpops, like we can play guitar too, and then Grandpops is an asshole, and you're just like, whoa, Grandpops, like relax, you ain't gotta be like that. And then it just turns out you're like, it turns out your real dad looks like that uncle that's always drunk at the party. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're just like, yo, and it turns out that's just much more relatable than your grandfather being fucking
Vicente or whatever.
Vicente Fernandez and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, cause in the movie, his grandfather was Chente for sure.
Well, no, he wasn't Chente. He was
Who was it? Antonio Aguilar? Who's the one that's dead?
I was just thinking about
the old school one?
It's not Vicente. It's
Some mariachis.
Pedro Infante.
Pedro Infante.
Pedro Infante.
Your grandpops,
Infante.
man, are they trying to subtly say that Pedro Infante wasn't shit?
Yo, I'm pretty sure they were. Like low key, because they even made him look like Pedro Infante, bro. Like they weren't even stressed. They weren't even fucking trying to hide that
Is
shit.
that really what it is? Yo, we gotta look this up.
I don't know if
we gotta dive deep.
He was inspired by they took
You know, low
him.
key, a lot of those Mexican singers that get famous, Ramon Ayala and like all those places. Oh, maybe Ramon Ayala does write his own songs. But a lot of those songs that get like really famous, Mi Cómplice, like fucking Tragos Amargos, all this shit, they get redone so many times.
Yeah.
Right? It's very difficult to find who the original writer of those songs were.
Also because a lot of them were built like they were fucking written in fucking ranchitos, bro.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Like our grandpas were probably singing them, and they were probably like making them as they were getting drunk.
And then they got a real recording of it, and then the person that like
somebody
pops.
wrote that shit down and was like, this was a good song, right?
Yeah, so a lot low key. that's the real subplot of Coco, is that like a lot of these
They
really
all
great
finessing out
songs,
here.
they ain't got the same writers, and the people that actually
Man,
wrote the songs were some nobodies that nobody knew
Whenever the
about.
fucking grandpa was like on the floor and shit, I was all like, "Don't die, bro." And then I knew he was dead, but obviously, but like,
Don't die
she
again.
ain't never know that you loved her.
Oh shit.
I was all like, "Grandma."
The most
dude.
relatable part about Coco is that the women in that movie sounded like acted exactly like
the
Mexican
way
women.
yes.
That was like, yo,
Absolutely.
that shit is chilling.
So,
Especially the
wait.
grandma when she was like, I don't fuck with this dude no more. And I was like, yo, that's real, bro. Cause mom be like mad as fuck making the salsa hella spicy, and she'll be like, fuck that guy. Like, yes, I know he lives with me and we share the same bed and I love him and I ain't never gonna move, but fuck him. And they say that shit with power. They say it from their gut. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Con
even
huevos.
even watching Coco in English, do you think that they sounded
Yeah.
like Mexican people?
Oh, well, I don't
yeah.
know if they sounded like Mexican people, but the character.
Okay,
The character,
okay,
like,
okay.
not necessarily
But
like
even
Mexican.
then,
Like,
no, like Jaime Camil. You know
Who?
who you
I
don't
don't know
know
who that
Jaime
is.
Camil. Well, you don't watch novelas then. But
did he voice one of the actors?
Yo, bro, he voiced the dad.
Oh.
He voiced the dad. He's Jaime Camil. He's Betty La Fea, bro. Like, he's the guy that was in Betty La Fea. He's like this little fox man. He's like a little gray fox. He's out here still doing his thing.
Killing it?
Yeah, he's really rich, bro. Jaime Camil is like really like in the scene.
Damn.
And
You
he
putting me
voiced-
on right now.
Yeah, bro, because I watch novelas and stuff, and he's been like,
Y'all dramatic ass.
I'm sorry, but novelas set the ground. They set the motherfucking tone for everything.
But
Me
that's what
and
I'm saying.
Teresa,
Like the women in the women in Coco, like I was like, yo, that's mom for sure.
That's
and
for
the way she was like, you're never allowed to touch the guitar. And I was like, holy shit. Like what the
Flashbacks.
fuck? Like
Fucking
not
war flashbacks.
flashbacks to me, but flashbacks to like mom saying some crazy ass shit. Like, you can't go to Daniel's house no more. Like what? Like you can never go to Daniel's house again. I'm like, God damn, I didn't do anything. I wasn't even there.
Not even gonna lie. I know Natalia already be feeling that way about me because sometimes I'm like, no, gracias. And I sound just like mom when I start screaming. Like when I start,
Damn.
me oigo bien chillona.
That's why
I'll be
ignoring
like,
you.
Natalia, ya te dije. And then my mom's like,
That's why I be ignoring you, because I used to ignore the shit out of mom too.
yeah.
You start talking like that, I'm like, immediately I fucking start to zone out.
Dad was Dad was talking to us about how me and mom are like, when we have conversations and shit, we be like noise canceling the room. That
Oh
make
yeah,
any
like it's the
sense?
same frequency, so y'all just clash.
No, bro. Like we make it impossible for people to hear around us.
Because y'all are fucking
Because
annoying.
the way
dog.
that we talk, I don't know if it's the way that we're getting excited or the fact that like I match mom's tone and mom's tone keeps going up. And so I keep going up until we're just like, and then
But that's
like,
what I'm saying,
And
the
it gets
people-
really like nasally and shit, and it's all like,
But
like,
that's
it's
what I'm
very, like-
saying. Like in Coco, like the fucking they like that's another thing. I think the story in and of itself, the way that they move through the story, the plots and the turnarounds and the like the character development was brilliant. The way that they did it, and like of course the animations was great, but also the characters were really believable.
Yeah.
Like those. I
agree
think
with
just those two,
100%
just
believe
those
that.
two things, just dialogue and
Mama
and-
Coco. Mama Coco, like, Mama Coco, the grandma, was, like, very, chill. But then, like, Mama, what was her name? Esperanza, Isabel, the main mama.
I don't know.
The mama that was married to the guy that died.
Yeah, the one that was pissed off.
I was all, like, out here hitting shit with the shoe and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, you gonna make this work. It's like, ma'am, how am I gonna make this work? You just broke my computer. It's like, you gonna make it work regardless. I don't know what you're gonna do, but you're
That's
gonna do
real.
it. And that was, like...
And I don't know how Colombians are. I don't know if Encanto was like real in terms of
It might have
character, but it was just a good story. It's a good story. It's worth watching. You should watch it.
Yeah.
Just set in Colombia. That's the only thing. It
Well,
wasn't.
and that's the thing. So that's why I asked if the characters in Coco really seemed like Mexican characters, or like or if they sounded Mexican. Because Cruz had mentioned that.
Shout out to Cruz.
Shout out to Cruz.
Shout out to
That they didn't sound Colombian.
Oh.
At least in English. But he also mentioned that he has to go back and he really wants to give it a second chance and rewatch it in Spanish, because people have said that like they do actually sound
Colombian and Spanish.
Colombian when they're speaking in Spanish. But in English, they kind of all just have like a very general, basic, like
Hispanic accent.
Hispanic accent, yeah.
Well,
That shit slapped though in terms of the soundtrack though.
Oh yeah.
Oh fuck
The
yeah.
soundtrack is.
Because she was bumping the song about the
We
strong
don't talk
girl.
about Bruno.
She was yeah.
I was bumping. What's the Luisa song?
Well, I don't know, man.
Oh,
I don't
Yeah.
know, but I
So
be
the
hearing
soundtrack
people-
is the
I be hearing people
soundtrack is
talk
decent.
about it.
Although Cruz did object to the fact that like there's only one song that's actually like Colombian-esque. Everything else is just like pop Lin-Manuel Miranda shit.
Well, like, you know,
Or not pop, but like musical theater, musical
like
animation.
Colombian music is very like
Vallenato,
very
shit like yeah, very like
inspired by
cultural.
like tribal / like indigenous, no?
It's more indigenous, yeah. They have a
Like
lot of
very,
like
like,
weird
Afro-
instruments and like they
Afro Latino.
I don't know
right?
about Afro, but vallenato for sure in Colombia, and there's a there's
Because
a good sense of like
I thought Colombia was, you know,
they probably derived some from I
A
don't
lot
know
of, like,
I don't know if
Afro.
the African slave trade landed in Colombia. I know that it was in Puerto Rico and the Caribbean, but I don't think that I think they bypassed Colombia. They went straight to Brazil.
Well, one of the things that they do that a lot of people have like really appreciated about Encanto is that a lot of the characters like they're very diverse. So
Yeah,
you
'cause,
have
like,
some
yeah,
that are
there
very
is-
dark
there is
skin,
darker
you have
complexion.
some
No,
that are
maybe you're
very
right. Maybe you're right.
fair
Maybe
skin.
there is some Afro
I
Afro there.
thought it has a slight, like even vallenato y punta. I think
Punta,
punta
but
is
no, don't say
Colombia.
puta. Puta is something different.
Punta.
Punta.
Punta es lo que estoy diciendo.
Punta is more Brazil. But Colombia shares part of the Amazon with
So I'm
Brazil.
saying,
So,
so-
like I don't know if that, but Punta for sure is more Brazilian because that's where the girls are like.
Because I know like Hondureños, which are, if I'm not mistaken, in Central America,
Yeah.
along with Colombia. Hondureños like fuck heavy with punta and
Oh,
like
for real?
yeah.
Maybe I'm just uncultured when it comes to Latin America.
And they're very Afro Latino inspired, so they have very similar like maybe a little bit darker tone complexions than me, and they typically have
That little boy in Encanto
really
is
really
cute.
curly hair
The-
and like
the-
very
the-
Afro
the darker
Afro
complected boy.
indigenous, you know,
They did a good job of like
which
being
is cool.
very.
And I saw that they have this girl that's like really really dark skin with like really 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 curly hair.
That's
like
the
really
main character.
Poofy oh really?
That's the
Oh,
main
that's
character.
the
No,
main
no. That's the other sister.
with the glasses.
Is
no,
it Dolores?
she's talking about the.
The
She's
one
talking
with
about
glasses?
With the glasses. No, yeah, that's the main character. That's,
Okay, yeah, that's
sorry.
the one that I saw. This little like cute little video of this little girl that was like, that looks like me.
Yeah.
And I was
Oh,
like,
yeah,
it's like
yeah,
really
that's
cute because the
adorable.
little
they
little girl
did a
literally
good
looks
job.
like her.
They did a good job of representing the diversity of Colombia for sure. Because Colombia is one of
It's
those
got a lot of
places with
different- yeah.
a lot of different cultures, a lot of
And-
different origins and heritage and stuff
So
like that.
Cruz also mentioned like he wants to watch it in Spanish because of the fact that they represent that even more in Spanish, where like the darker complexion like characters have accents that sound like they come from like the areas in Colombia where they
Where
would
there
be
is predominantly more.
yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
That makes sense.
But it's still, even with that, like if I think that that's something to like appreciate
Yeah,
that they,
it is.
you know, put
That
that they
attention
put
to
in that,
detail.
attention. But it's still at the end of the day just lacks the aspect of like the entire story being about the culture, like Coco. So
Yeah.
it's still
Yeah,
not
no,
necessarily.
So let me put it to you like this: the same story, same exact story, would have hit exactly the same
Had it been in
had
another
it been
culture.
in Africa, or had it been in China,
I see
or
what
had
you
it
mean.
been in Mexico, or had it been in the United States. Like, because the story itself is the main thing, not the culture
Not
around
the
it.
culture.
Whereas Coco would not have popped off if it was like Britain.
Well, I know,
you know what I mean? Because they don't have that specific, that they were talking about specifically
Well, they
Dia
were
de los
talking
Muertos and
specifically
the
about the Dia de los
connection of
Muertos,
like
yeah.
the spiritual,
Yeah.
the spiritual essence that
and
Mexicans
that's what I
have.
was getting at when I was talking about that like empowerment story versus the like learning about the culture story, because I think Coco was just him learning about the culture and being all like, oh damn, like
That's wild.
I
yeah.
didn't know. Like for instance,
And also just the idea that like
and I think it resonated, like Coco resonated with me as a first generation Mexican American, because I didn't know that about Dia de los Muertos, because my parents never talked to us about Dia de los Muertos like that, because where our family's from, Dia de los Muertos isn't even talked about in that sense. Where Coco was set, it's a more traditional
it's
village,
on
and
the
more
west side.
traditional. Yeah, so it's a different part of Mexico where it was set in Oaxaca.
Guadalajara, Oaxaca, somewhere on the west, somewhere on the west.
Yeah, and those particular areas are really heavy with it. Everything is set up in those beautiful like flowers and stuff
If
like
you
that.
boil it down to one sentence,
I think it's more relatable.
if you boil it down to one sentence, I still think Coco's one sentence about what the movie's about is more powerful than the sentence of Encanto. Because if you boil it down to one sentence, Coco is about people really only die when you forget them.
Yeah.
That's powerful. The one sentence in Encanto is it's your responsibility to undo the old ways that don't work anymore.
And I think that's pretty much a lot of Disney movies. So that's why I feel like it's not as powerful.
Maybe
like,
it's just
Mulan's
overdone.
about that.
Well, yeah.
Mulan is literally about that. Brave is
Yeah.
about that. All of my
Brave.
favorite movies are about that.
Tangled.
Like Tangled, even Beauty and the Beast. It's about not being a traditional woman. Like
Undoing
it's
the
all,
old ways.
Yeah,
Yo,
it's
that's
so-
kind of wild.
That's what I'm saying. That's y'all
So,
think like me,
maybe
bro.
it's just repetitive. Like
It's very
a different
repetitive,
way
so I
of
feel like
saying it,
it's
but it's a
not
little
as
repetitive. Yo, I
impactful.
didn't even think about that.
It's not as impactful for you if it's the same story over and over again, just with a different colored woman, as opposed to Coco being about like, damn, I didn't know that. Even as somebody,
But just like the premise in of itself, people don't really die until you forget who they are.
Because that particular story,
That shit slaps, bro. That shit is amazing.
And like Dia de los Muertos, I feel like was seen as
It was just so clever too. The roses, the way in, the way that you can't step on the roses,
and the fact,
the way that it's a gate.
Like and the idea, the most beautiful part about that is it's all based on legit like Aztec and Mayan culture. Like these were things that were like actually like told to them by tribes still in Mexico, telling them like this is what we believe. And they started incorporating it into a storyline that fit Mexico. And because in Mexico,
they also used to sacrifice people, so we're just gonna
we're just gonna pretend like that didn't happen.
We're just not gonna talk about that.
But like the idea is the fact that this beautiful culture that a lot of the times gets underestimated or undervalued by a lot of different cultures because of its color and because of just where it's at, and the idea that you have of Mexico is so universal that just because you're not Mexican doesn't mean you can't get the story. So I think a lot of people
learned a lot about like the importance of.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to be Mexican to be like, damn, people don't die until you forget them. Like,
that's such a powerful concept.
You don't have to be Mexican to be in, but
It's
do
such
feel
a powerful
like
premise also.
after Coco, people started looking at the Day of the Dead in a much different manner, to the point where a lot of Americans, just regular Americans, have actually started practicing a lot of things that you would do in Dia de los Muertos, which would be like they have their little pictures and they have these like semi-ofrendas of things. Obviously, they don't go along with it the same way that Mexicans do because it's just not necessarily part of their culture, but they do start incorporating it in a way because they realize that message is not just meant for Mexicans, it's meant for people in general.
I think that premise is also
impactful.
I think that premise is extremely powerful in and of itself to begin with. So if only for the simple fact that that premise, people don't die until you forget them, is a premise of reassurance.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the person that actually died, but it actually makes you feel better knowing that like their soul is still with me because I haven't forgotten.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's powerful because it puts the responsibility on you. And if you felt grief at any point in time over a lost loved one or whatever, that premise is a premise of reassurance, because then you get to feel almost instantly better saying like, you know what, but you're not actually gone because you live in my memory, and memories are the most important fuel for love.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I was
So that's why if you have Alzheimer's, you're fucked.
Shut up.
You know what I'm saying? Because imagine just showing up and like